Welcome back, baseball fans, to another elimination video. Today we're eliminating the Portland Rosebuds, the expansion team, finishing third in their division. They had to play the Giants, beat them 5 times. They couldn't win a game. They lost game 1 and are done. Finished the season 15-20. They started 8-4 this year and then just tailed off after that and fell completely out of the playoff hunt. Portland boasts a generally pretty productive offense last few years, but the pitching hasn't been there, and it's a year-to-year proposition. We talk about this all the time with expansion teams, so you just have to, it all has to happen in 1 year. You just have to, everybody has to overachieve. You have to get the best talent you can get, and then the next year it falls down. And they got some nice pieces here. They're going to lose some nice pieces. Let's take a look at this offense first. Bob Montgomery, top 10 MVP votes for an expansion team. And you're like, boy, you could really exploit the league by having an extra pinch hitting catcher card play every day. Well, they're 15-20, folks. So I'm fine with Bob Montgomery playing every day for an expansion team. The reality is you don't have 20 Bob Montgomery stat cards. So if you had 20 of those, then you could compete with the Big Red Machine. But if you don't, then you're right here getting eliminated. What a year, though. 345, 14 homers, 37 RBIs. As a catcher with a +2 arm. I think his card's up, though, folks. This is what I'm talking about. Same with Bloomberg. Platoon, so you don't have the plate appearances. 333. I think he's up. Carbo, I think, is up. 312. I mean, Cater played every day. They're all 300 hitters. Tommy McCraw has a nice card. It struggled. And Glenn Borgman's a really interesting. Actually, I thought the on base would be higher than that. 16 hits, 37 walks. His on base is 236 points higher than his batting average. Wow. That's pretty wild. Cool, fun card. The pitching, they traded for Jerry Royce. He was steady at the top, but again, a 500 pitcher on a 500 team. Probably pitched better than that. Look at the gap between runs and earned runs. So 16 unearned runs in his 86 innings. That's some bad defense behind him. That hurt him. We had the closer only had 4 saves. That's Ray Sadecki. 4 pitchers with ERAs over 5. A bunch of journeymen in there. Not a good look. Plain and simple. Let's take a look now at the Portland cards of 1973. First, we want to look at the 8 players from 73 who are coming or going. And when we do this, oh boy. Yeah, there's the Montgomery card. Let's take one last look at it. Bye. They're going to miss him. Bloomberg, going to miss him. Carbo. AG was getting old. Cater at 3 was hitting 308. Ted Martinez. And Nelly Browse had a nice card. Again, we don't know what they're going to do with these guys. Who do they keep? Who do they waive? Who do they retire? So it's going to be, should be 6-6 here. And maybe they're going to bring back more pitchers for better or worse. The offense moving forward, and oh boy, folks, this is not a very... I don't see what you... Okay, here's the Borgman card I talked about. If you roll this card, you're going to have an on-base 200 points higher than the batting average, which is great, frankly. And then we have... Yeah, here's a good first baseman. He actually was miscast. What a neat first baseman this guy is. He's a 2 first baseman, left-handed with power versus lefties and righties. It's lefties fine. This is what you want at a first baseman. A guy who could play every day, batting left-handed. 294 average. Maybe you'd like a little more power, but this is going to be the high side of Tom McCraw's career. Coverage of left-handed hitting second baseman is okay. Full-time power, interesting, but okay. Just a guy. Here's a shortstop, but he can play every day. Just a guy, but he can play every day. He hits about 250, 245 on each side. Doesn't hit a lot of double plays, and it's got power versus righties. Gotta take what you can get, folks. Nice Art Hal card. Plenty of batting average over here, and he's got power over there. Defense isn't any good, but it's Art Hal. We know he becomes a very versatile player throughout this decade with Houston in the 1980s. All right, here's the futures card. So you have Chet Lemon with a 76 card. Take a look at his future and see when do you want to improve him. Get him, you know, he would be a fixture for the White Sox, at least by 1980, 79-80. Then he ends up with the Tigers. So when a player moves from team to team, and he ends up often on an expansion team. There's going to be a lot of pitchers here. So to sort these guys out, looks like 3 and 3 here. Yeah. So here's Royce. He's still going to be at the top of this rotation. Yeah, with that Pittsburgh card. So this is right when he gets to Pittsburgh before he gets to the Dodgers. And when a guy travels around as much as Jerry Royce does, a team like Portland gets their hands on him, not going to let him go. So he's going to be with Portland for a long time because he's such a great pitcher. He gets lost in the shuffle in L.A. They have plenty of options in L.A. So it looks like Portland's going to hold on to this guy. They'll have Kirby with one more good year here, 74. Cincinnati, he didn't have a great year in 74, but Clay Kirby did, statistically at least. Bill Butler, starter relief for the Twins. Versatility. Throws most importantly left-handed. That gets you a long look in the league. I like Dick Bosman's ability here as a swing starter. Starter relief. Versatile. Relief starter. Long man. Could be a closer if you needed him to be. His stats are good. 3.64 ERA. Ray Sadecki, the lefty who gets lefties out, was asked to close out games. Probably shouldn't. Again, he's a starter 6, but you're going to get more use out of him as your lefty setup guy. Just dominating those guys and try not let him get knocked around on that side. And Roger Nelson, they got him after that 72 year in Kansas City. What a brilliant year that was. Instead of him being traded to the Reds, he got traded here. Part of that, remember that Hal McRae trade. Cincinnati had no room for Hal McRae. Kansas City had no room for Roger Nelson. They traded those players. Worked out for Kansas City, not for Cincinnati. He's okay with a 3.39 ERA. Well, okay. The best parts of this team are missing. So that's what we have to look at next. The 8 players from 1973. Who do they keep? Who do they waive, and who do they retire? All right, here's a look at the first player, Tommy Agee. What an interesting journey he had. He was the Mets. He got traded to Toronto. Toronto was very good when he was there. Got them to 500, got them into the playoffs a year. Then his stats started to tumble a little bit, and so he was traded away, and his career is over. At age 30 in 1973 with the card we just used. And that's how it ends for Tommy Agee. So that was fun. I mean, we had a fun time. Almost sad to say that we're done using this card because, gosh, he was so important to the Mets and that fun Toronto Cinderella team we had a few years ago. But that's the way the sport goes. You have to say goodbye to your cards. Keep your timeline going. And Tommy Agee is in column 3. Retirement. Next up, Ron Blomberg. He actually has several nice years in the 70s besides his big year in 73 when he was known as the first DH in the league, which simply meant he was the first guy to bat in 73 as a DH with this 329 card. My goodness, Portland, you're losing some nice wood here. That's some nice wood gone. It was good in 71 and 72. I mean, all these cards are really good. All of the Yankees. The 74 card will be, that's the one. They have one more year. Maybe 2. But thankfully, it won't be quite as good as 73, but 74 card is comparable. They're going to bring that back. He becomes a keeper with one more year. Bloomberg. All right. Bernie Carbo. Now, Carbo has some lean years in here. He's known for that great off season in 75. Let's take a little dive into Bernie. We got some time here. So, Bernie, it's Reds, Cardinals, Red Sox, the Brewers for a year, back to Boston, Cleveland, back to the Cardinals. Pirates are thrown in there for a minute. So a nice long journey. 73, 111 games, 371 plate appearances, 819 OPS. Boy, Rookie of the Year, runner-up in 1970. He's not going to do that again. 4.5 whip. But a great year in 73. Now, beyond here, it's hit or miss. 2 more years with the Red Sox at around 250. We'll look at the offseason in a second. 76, he split between Boston and Milwaukee. He starts to fade. 77, back to Boston, and he's got a great year in 77 with Boston. Portland can snipe that year right here. Pretty much have to do that. Keep him going, folks. Yeah, that's a 4-year deal. That's a nice card. 931 OPS in 77. Oddly enough, he's got a 2.9 WAR in 75 with those same Red Sox. Red Sox aren't going to need him. They're going to have plenty of options. Moreover, Portland's not, needs to have some guys on their team. And so the World Series teams normally can lose some guys. So here is the postseason batting numbers of Carbo. What's really weird is, I don't know if he was not even active for the League Championship Series. But he's got the 2 home runs, the memorable 2 home runs in the 75 series. It's only 8 plate appearances. I mean, and of course in 70, did he not have that weird plate appearance where he smacks the ball into the dirt, bounces up in the air, guy comes, oh no, he doesn't do that. He's trying to score from third, collides with Elrod Hendricks. He never touches the plate. Hendricks loses the ball, and the umpire doesn't see it. There's a big photograph of that. Something like that. I don't know. Misremembering. Enough. Nice little long dive into Bernie Carbo. Let's keep him. Portland, you need guys. Bernie's going to be one of them. All right. Danny Cater. Had a nice batting average, a nice chunk of his career. Didn't really have a lot of power. Then he went to a power card. I think he's got that in 74, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this one. So his slugging goes up to 405 in 74. Also with Boston again. The Portland to Boston pipeline. Vice versa. Turn it around. Boston Portland pipeline. This card exists. And I'm of the opinion you get it. At least put a claim in for it. You want this card. Because again, you really want, the offense is the best part of this team. So bring back as much as the good parts as you can. Ted Martinez is not one of the good parts. And but he becomes a nice utility player by at least the end of the decade. The Expos and Dodgers. Okay. So 77, actually, you know what? This card becomes available. The 77 Martinez card. 4-year contract for a nice utility player. That card is available. That's a 4-year deal. That's good news. You could have him at short or second for 4 years. Hitting almost 300. Ooh. Yeesh. Gosh, that is very tempting to... God, I hate to say it, Brian Bloomberg. He hits 313 with power. Martinez is going to play every day, hit 299. It's a 4-year contract. So Bloomberg might be a trade chip now. Plus, if you're looking at a left-handed bat, Carbo probably can't hit lefties very well. Bloomberg and Carbo are sort of redundant. So I'm going to put trade here. Bloomberg. Or even Cater, really. Either one. create a space for this Martinez card. You know, and the reason is 77. Got to take advantage of these short sample guys. Remember, I talked about Montgomery, who we're going to look up next. Short sample, but it makes an impact. So let's take a look at Bob Montgomery. He's next, and he's a guy who's going to like stagger his quality years here. And you know, I think we got a potential problem because 77 is the year for all these guys. Yep. So that's the year for Montgomery coming up. Hit 286 and 72, 320 and 73, 300 and 77. You can get all those cards. This 349 card doesn't exist. In between, he's not much at all. 252, yeah, as expected. He's a career 258 hitter, but he's got 3 outlier years that we're using. Wow. So here's the conundrum they're in. It's all happening in 77, and you can only take 2 guys in 77. Let alone none of the rookies on this team. So I'm going to put the 77s there now, because you could take you could take the 75 Carbo that's on Boston. You know what I mean? Because you don't have that kind of flexibility. This is how you build these expansion teams. You don't have that flexibility with like a Ted Martinez. You got to lock into the only year he's good. That's why it's a 4-year carryover league. It's the premise of the league, the maxim of the league. You can print this on a T-shirt. Every baseball player is good once in 4 years, depending on what you want to determine good to be. But if you're not good once in 4 years, what is that team doing employing you? Is what I say. So you're going to find a strat card for literally for every player. Once in 4 years, you'll find a card you like. And that's why we have the 4-year carryover league. In this case, we like the 77 Martinez and Montgomery. Keepers. Or trade chips. But definitely, these years, the combination there, yeah, those are the years, folks. There's no denying that. The other side is you have to look at it as not just this Portland expansion team, but the entire league. We're trying to get as much talent into the league to make the league competitively. So even if they're making a deal and somebody else ends up with these guys, look at something good in return. All right. Good off-season start. We thought the offense was there. Now it's a question of keeping it all. But we knew they had the offense. Now the pitching, unfortunately, the 6 guys they're keeping aren't so much. And one of the 2 good pitchers they had is up. And again, this is another case of Nelly Bryles getting up there in age, and now you're starting to wonder. He's turned 30. He's got a nice year with the Rangers. He starts to bounce around from Pittsburgh to Kansas City to Texas to Baltimore. His ERA is over 4 every year except for 76. His career is over by 34. I don't think he's worth keeping. Now, if you want to trade him, you could trade him. If you decided you were going to keep him, you take the 76 card, as you can pitch on 3 days rest, as the 3.26 ERA, a 3.1 WAR. So yeah, I'm fine with the idea that this guy's a keeper. Maybe not for Portland, maybe for somebody else. I don't know. Or is the situation that they're pitching so bad you got to keep somebody? You could have Royce and Kirby as your top 2, and that's all you need. A 1 and a 2. Your 3s and 4s don't have to pitch on 3 days at rest. Butler could go in be your number 4 starter. Nelson could be your number 4 starter. Dick Bosman or even Sadecki, they're all starter reliefs. This team has plenty of starter reliefs. I think you should trade Nelly Bryles. Which leaves us the last guy, Ray Corbin. And I think he might be turning into a pumpkin. He's had some nice cards, though. Yeah, it's a short career, but 2 of the years are nice. Was a twin. Yeah, the 72 and 73 Corbin cards are really nice. And we used them both. Got some use out of those. But in 74, you can put him on the waiver list. He's not very good. But the waiver list needs players. Does he have a card in 74 for the Twins? We can look at the roster sheet. And right here for the Twins, yeah, he's got a card, just to confirm that. So he can go on waivers. And again, this is a very versatile offseason. They should be happy with this. 60101. You can only keep 4. So they'll be trading a couple of these guys. And when you trade a couple guys, keepers, I should say, you make your everyday players better. So if you don't want Glenn Borgman anymore, you could put Glenn Borgman and one of these guys in a deal and get a better catcher, perhaps. Mike Cubbage, Art Hale, Chet Lemon, any of those 3 guys, you can deal all those. And then get a better second baseman, shortstop. Tom McCraw's near the end of his career. If you don't want him to play first base, that's a nice chip. Tom McCraw. There's a nice... A team will want an everyday left-handed hitting first baseman with power versus lefties and a 2E8. So this is the best player that you'd get rid of because he's only got 1 year left. So I'm gonna scream trade on that one. So you trade Tom McCraw and either Carbo Martinez or Montgomery, and you get a really quality, probably a star pitcher. You know, trade him for a team and get a real solid number 2 behind Jerry Royce, better than Nelly Bryles. That's what they could do. Lot of off season. We're not even at the off season, but there's so much time to talk about these maneuvers. Thanks for checking this out. Eliminating the Portland expansion team. We'll see you next time.